They came to us.
Carney personally helped seal the deals.
I met with them just at the end of what was a process.
Are you courting other Conservative MPs to push you over the edge?
Well, it's interesting. I wouldn't have chosen that verb, lure. Lure or courting. Okay. What I would choose is they are attracted by what we are doing.
There are lots of rumors, and we have been told through sources over the last few months that potentially Wilkinson, who's the former environment minister, Jonathan Wilkinson, may be leaving to get an ambassador-type position overseas. Same with Bill Blair, the former defense minister. He had been rumored to be in line for a potential ambassador position as well. So there are two more former cabinet ministers, two steadfast, long-term presences in the Liberal government who may be in line for other positions, and that could also trigger more by-elections and again really complicate the math here for Carney.
How things have changed at the stroke of midnight. 2026 is starting off with a boom. I can feel it in my bones. This is the year that we get back our hope, our integrity, our courage, and yes, our country. And it's starting off right on track. Let's get into this report. Yeah, welcome back, everybody. This is going to be a great report. Just as the tide turned for the Conservatives last year, who remembers we started off the year with a super majority in the polling, and Justin Trudeau, just 1 year ago today, resigned.
I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister.
We got what I would describe as the black swan event by Donald Trump interfering in Canada's elections, helping Mark Carney get elected. Today, the tide has turned, however. It's Donald Trump again ripping the carpet from underneath the Liberals. Oh yeah, and Mark Carney. The capture of Maduro shocking the world. It was so devastating that Mark Carney went into silent mode. He was hiding. Guaranteed he was probably weeping in a corner because this black swan event turns the tide back into the Conservative side this time. Mark Carney refused to make any public statement when this whole thing went down. He waited for every single other world leader to come out and make their statement heard. Then when he did make a statement, he played safe mode, making sure he wouldn't upset any of his Liberals because they are all fractured over there. So when mainstream media went on the offensive and said it was the Conservatives that are falling apart, people are leaving the Conservative Party because nobody wants Pierre Poilievre. Well, it looks like the fractures are actually occurring within the Liberal Party. Things are starting to crumble for Mark Carney. Let's see how things are going since the election in Canada. 38 for the Conservatives and 42 for the Liberals. We fast forward all the way to today in 2026. It's 39 to 38, and this is the averages amongst all the polls. But we just started the year, and the downtrend has just begun. Canada should be the richest country on planet Earth. Best healthcare, lowest tax rate on the planet, safest streets, most opportunities for every single person in this country. We have the most water. You actually name it, and Canada has it. We are the best. Canadians are actually waking up to the fact. Why are we not all rich?
Justin's out there partying with Katy Perry, but we're all screwed. We should be the wealthiest country in the world, because we're blessed with the greatest natural resources in the world. Some of the world's highest proven oil reserves, natural gas that could satisfy the insatiable demand that the world is experiencing for electricity, rare earth minerals that everyone's chasing. We should be living like Saudi prince. We should be like the Qataris. 400 pages in this budget but no pipeline. Surprise. We're shooting ourselves in the foot. Why don't we just get out of our own way? Why doesn't government get out of our own way and allow us to drill for energy, to export natural gas, to use this blessing that are natural resources to put more money in Canadians' pockets?
Here, here.
We're actually importing oil from Russia. Think about how crazy that is. Other petroleum producers will not stop, but they pollute the environment. Canada has some of the best environmental practices in the world. Those that are passionate about the environment should want more Canadian oil instead of dirty oil from the Middle East.
Here's where things get spicy for Mark Carney. Check out this headline. Venezuelan oil could put Canada out of business. If sabotage of the energy industry doesn't end, we face impoverishment. So what is Donald Trump doing now?
With them all, 14 companies. I'm meeting with them all. I'm also meeting with oil companies. Let's go. You know what that's about. We've got a lot of oil to drill, which is going to bring down oil prices even further. But
Trump's meeting 14 oil companies in 3 days from now, January 9th. What else did he do today? This just in, Donald Trump just published on his Truth Social. I'm pleased to announce that the intern authorities in Venezuela will be turning over between 30 and 50 million barrels of high quality sanctioned oil to the United States of America. This oil will be sold at its market price, and that money will be controlled by me as the President of the United States of America to ensure that it's used to benefit the people of Venezuela and the United States. I've asked the Energy Secretary, Chris Wright, to execute this plan immediately. It will be taken by storage ship and brought directly to unload docks in the United States. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So this is not a significant amount of oil. It's 7.5 to 12.5 days of Canadian oil. But this is where Donald Trump is going. He is cornering Mark Carney. This was back in September. I know I look a little bit more tan, but remember what Mark Carney did, removing all the retaliatory tariffs. Listen to his speech here. It's pretty important. Why would Mark Carney remove all the retaliatory tariffs if he said that he wanted to do this?
Ruptured. No, we don't like Trump here. We don't like Trump here. Ruptured the global economy and changed forever our relationship with the United States.
That has been the consistent refrain from Mark Carney in the campaign, and today he's saying he wants to increase trade everywhere except the U.S.
We will build great careers in new industries and trade corridors with reliable partners in every corner of the world except South.
The most concerning thing is if you actually send one of your liberal friends this video, they would defend Mark Carney no matter what. We have to pivot. We got to do something different because it's not working. He's a man with a vision. Look how quick he's adjusting. He could do no wrong. Here is Mark Carney today. And don't be drinking anything while you watch this.
Look, we stand with Denmark, we stand with Greenland. Our closest partnership is with the United States, and we'll work with everybody to make sure that we move forward together.
What did he just say? I thought our relationship is officially over. He's been saying it for the past year. We are no longer dealing with the United States. We're moving away from them. Oh yeah, we're starting new relationships. What did he just say right here?
Our closest partnership is with the United States, and we'll work with everybody to make sure that...
What? I'm sorry. This is unbelievable. Canadians, specifically the elbows up Canadians. Everybody else has lost patience already for Mark Carney, but the elbows up crew are starting to lose patience with Mark Carney. Here's Mark Carney's response to the new threat, Venezuela oil.
A functioning, not corrupt Venezuelan economy will produce more oil. It'll be better for the Venezuelan people. It'll be more stable for the Western Hemisphere. That's all a good thing. Canadian oil, Canadian energy, but I'll speak because you asked specifically about Canadian oil. It's been our view, and we're working towards this, that Canadian oil will be competitive because it is low risk, clearly low risk, low cost, the marginal costs. There's been huge progress in getting down the costs, and low carbon, which is what the Pathways project, carbon capture, will bring. And that makes Canadian oil competitive for the medium and long term.
Decarbonize oil. That's why the whole world is going to stop everything. They're going to stop buying Venezuela oil. They're going to stop buying U.S. shale oil, or they're not going to buy anything except for the premium of the crop, the Canadian decarbonized oil. We will be the #1 no-carbon decarbonized oil on the planet with this Pathways project, making it the lowest carbon barrel on the planet. Do people actually care how much carbon goes into these barrels? Think about this. If you go to the grocery store and you see strawberries for $2 per pound, and it says America on it, and then you look at the Canadian strawberries and they're $6.99 a pound. Even though you're like, I don't want to buy American, but I'm so broke right now, I could only afford the American strawberries. You're going to be buying the American strawberries. And the same could be said with all of the customers around the world. Other countries are going to be looking at who could provide the lowest cost possible to save us the most money. That is how the economy in the planet works. This guy's supposed to be a genius economist. The more he speaks, the more I go, where did he go to school again? Donald Trump has Mark Carney right where he wants him. This is where Donald Trump is today. Pierre Poilievre. Change in oil-rich Venezuela means that Canada must race to approve a pipeline to the Pacific coast and move millions of barrels of Canadian oil per day overseas to break our dependence on one customer. I'm going to summarize this letter to Mark Carney for everybody. With U.S. now in partnership with Venezuela and potentially removing the sanctions, Venezuela is going to be rapidly getting back on track to historic levels of oil production. We need to move immediately to approve the northern pipeline to the BC coast, remove the tanker ban, just get it done. He says this is your time to prove that you actually care about Canada and our prosperity, because we can't send 80% of our oil down to the United States. That's basically only one customer, and we need to diversify. And it will take like 5 to 7 years to get this pipeline built, beginning to end. If we don't start today, well, this could be catastrophic for Canada. But maybe, I'm just saying, this is not part of the letter, but maybe Mark Carney's trying to make us the 51st state, because Donald Trump did say this.
We don't need Canada for that. We don't need Canada for lumber because we have big forests that we have, not utilized. In some cases, they're protected, which I can take that protection off. And you take down a tree and you grow a better tree. That's, pretty common. But we don't need anything. We don't need their fuel. We don't need their energy. We don't need their oil and gas. We don't need anything that they have. And I said to Trudeau, I said, why are we subsidizing you $200 and $250 billion a year? He said, I really don't know. And I said, well, I don't know either. I said, what would happen to Canada if we didn't? He said, Canada would be obliterated if that happened. I said, then Canada should be a 51st state.
You said you were considering military force to acquire Panama and Greenland. Are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No, economic force. Because Canada and the United States, that would really be something.
Economic force. Donald Trump did warn Canada about economic force. And Donald Trump also mentioned this.
Braggadocious way, but it's true. I've been right about everything. And I'm telling you that if you don't get away from the green energy scam, your country is going to fail. And if you don't stop people that you've never seen before, that you have nothing in common with, your country is going to fail.
And now we have this. Yves Blanchette has come out today and said Donald Trump interfered in Canada's election, helping deliver power to Mark Carney and the Liberals. We all knew that's exactly what happened, but now this is out in the open. Where's the mainstream media with all this? This should be on every single front page newspaper across the country. Here's David Eby today on Venezuela oil. Are you going to approve a pipeline to the BC coast and remove the tanker ban? Check out David Eby's response.
Given what is happening in Venezuela and all the discussions around oil, Premier, are you feeling some more pressure to lift the tanker ban and approve a pipeline? There's so much discussion around oil right now. But given that the U.S. is going to soon have access to cheaper Venezuelan oil, does that change the discussion for you?
But what we don't support, what I don't support, is taxpayers paying for another publicly owned pipeline across the north. The economics have been very challenging for that proposal. There is still no private sector proponent. There's nobody who wants to build it from the private sector.
All right, I'm going to save you a whole bunch of gibbly goop and time. He says no, there's no pipeline going to the BC North Coast because there's no proponent, there's no investor. But it all falls on Mark Carney because tomorrow he could wake up tomorrow and sign, just like he got rid of the carbon tax and it went to zero. He could do the exact same thing and say it's to Canada's national interests, use Bill C-5, which he has, and say we're building a pipeline now. Straight to the coast and forget all projects, make it happen. But that's the thing. Mark Carney is not doing that. And that leads me to the beginning of this episode. We got all of this turmoil within the Liberal Party. Yesterday was such a wonderful day. We have Scott Anderson, a man with integrity, that came out and told the Liberals, first of all, I want to see every single Conservative MP that's been approached by the Liberals to come out and tell Canadians that they've been approached by who, show the messages, show the bribes. We want to know what they're offering everybody, because guess what? The more that people come out, like Scott Anderson, this guy is a Canadian hero in my view. There will be zero more floor crossers. They don't want to floor cross after this is out in the open. Yeah. It's a no-no. But what's actually super wonderful right now is already with Scott Anderson. I think it's shut the door to floor crossers already. And now we're starting to find out that on the Liberal side, they're losing 1, 2, 3, 4 potential people. Well, 1 for sure, but 4 probably. That means they are going to be 5 away from that majority. Do you actually think there's going to be 5 Conservative MPs to cross the floor? I don't think so. And what this also means, and that's why I'm so excited for everybody in Canada, is that in March, there's going to be a confidence vote when they need to present their finances and need more money. That is when this government will fall. And with more and more Canadians waking up and realizing that the Liberals are not delivering and Mark Carney is a complete failure. He's done absolutely nothing in the last 9 months. And now that Donald Trump has taken control of Venezuela and the oil fields, the pressure is on Mark Carney to deliver. He doesn't have much time. If we don't see anything from Mark Carney by the time today, all the way till March, the confidence vote, we're already seeing that the Liberals are falling in the polling numbers and the Conservatives are going up. Every day that passes, we're getting closer to an election. And every day that Mark Carney fails to deliver, we're that much closer to a Conservative majority government. I can't wait to provide everybody updates. Things are just heating up. I'll see you on the next report.